Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. Totally my fault. I was apparently sitting over on my personal account on live. Hi, Josh. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. So Josh is joining. There you are.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was sitting over on my personal account
Who
on
cares?
live
We're on
talking to my
quarantine
friends.
time. We're on quarantine time.
I promise I'm not day drinking.
I
I
don't
just
even care.
literally
Oh,
was on the wrong account. Being
sounds
like,
good.
gosh, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah.
It's so good to see your
You
face. It's been too
too.
long.
I haven't seen you since I was in Denver, like, what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, I forget if it was there or Vegas, one of the two, but
Ugh,
it
we're
was,
just everywhere.
I know. I think it was Denver. I think you're right, because I think Vegas was 2 years ago. So,
How
because it
are
was
you?
just your team this past year. I'm good. Well, as good as could be, but all good.
Okay.
So, have antibodies, willing to travel when everything opens up. So, I know, but it's crazy that everything's going on. But anyhow, but so we can just jump right in. First, I want to say for anyone watching, I'm Kathryn. I'm the owner of AILLEA. And Josh Rosebrook is one of our amazingly favorite brands and our amazingly favorite people.
Amazing.
And he is. I say the word amazing way too much. But anyway, I just wanted to introduce Josh Rosebrook, the founder of probably one of the best lines in the store. I love him and adore him personally too, and the products. So anyway, why don't you jump in and tell us a little bit about you and how you started the line
Okay.
and all good things.
Um, I'll try and get to all the points because I could be here for an hour,
I know.
talking just about my silly story. Um, well, let's see what happened. I was obsessed with skincare in the 90s, taking care of my skin, doing the ritual. It was before it was even a thing, and it was just something I was obsessed with. I understood natural ingredients. I understood how they worked and that they did work. It resonated with me, and I felt it was really, it was the inclusivity of the branding of the Body Shop that really pulled me into feeling as though there was a space for me in something that was otherwise designated for people who identified as women. And I didn't. And so I really kind of never really felt like I had a place in it in a sense. So it was a very personal thing. And then, went to beauty school, and once I studied skin and hair and got out, I couldn't afford to buy the products that I wanted because I was a low paid assistant and, had to figure it out. And I'm just very strategic and thoughtful. And I really want to uncover the truth in things. Doesn't matter what it is. And that was something that I sort of put into finding the right products for my skin. And I couldn't afford the ones I wanted. And I sort of figured out that the ones that I could purchase or wanted to try to purchase, really I thought I could do better. I was like, what is this? And why is that in there? And that threw me into research and study. And I really just spent years studying plants and herbs and skincare and do-it-yourself formulations. And I was making my own products. The first one was like my cacao mask, and which is an activating treatment, stimulates blood circulation in the skin and tones and brightens. And my clients were asking me, what are you using? And then I made this little beeswax cream moisturizer, and my skin looked incredible. And that's when I really started to go, wow, people don't really know what to use. And then when I investigated the market, I didn't really find the sort of herbal driven luxury products that really made a difference in my skin. There were some of the entry level basics that I saw, but that's really where I saw that, what I was discovering and was really needed on the market. And then, sharing it with my clients, seeing their results, and then being naive enough to start a company.
I do find that it's like sometimes it's like I forget what the saying is, but it's like smart enough not to know any better, but it's like you haven't been in the industry long enough, so you're like, I'm just going to go do it.
Yes. Yes. If I knew what it required, I wouldn't have done, you won't do anything if you know what it requires. You get into it being naive and thinking that you're going to do really well right away in some weird delusional sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing with becoming great at any job or position. You know, we have this idea, we graduate from college and we're going to go get this great high paying skilled job. No, you have to learn for years.
Yeah.
It's the 15,000 hours, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I love it. And, you know, it's still to this day, it's really what drives me is helping people understand quality and value and, you know, that in understanding their skin and their scalp and their hair and what works and what doesn't and why. And it's so much. And, you know, there's a lot to know. We don't know everything and we're always learning, and you have to be open and never, you know, never take absolutes about anything, you know, and you know, and not coming from fear. You know, I have a lot that I believe in when it comes to this business, and I'm so deeply connected to it. But really, you know, it's about putting out the best quality, highest integrity products, and you know, the value of the products so that people get real results for what is worth, what they're worth, you know. So that's a little bit about how I got started.
Yes. But two of the things, well, one is what makes your line stand out from, you know, the sea of other skincare lines out there.
I think there are several things, but to reduce it down to a few things, the main thing is that, you know, everything is handcrafted, everything is small batch, everything is, all of the individual raw ingredients are sourced consciously with specific farms and suppliers that are, that we have long-term relationships with. So everything is very conscious from, you know, from the beginning, the whole, you know, the production to what you get in the bottle to its life cycle and everything. And I think that's really what can be overlooked because it's hard to market that. And it can sound kind of boring. It's not as, you know, catchy as the new trending ingredient and that it's going to change your skin and, you know, do all of these things. So, what makes my line different really is the, you know, it's the approach that I use. I use an herbalist and a chemist, and they're professional formulations that are also small batch and handcrafted and research driven. It's not just, you know, handmade stuff making in my kitchen because it smells good and it might feel good. It really is designed to penetrate the stratum corneum, get into the skin and make a difference and be regenerative. And that matters because we want results and we deserve it. And there should be science behind how products are developed and, you know, and them, you know, showing that they work. So, and then we make all of our extract in-house. And so that's that fresh in-house made extract is our way to control what we offer. And it really is about whatever's fresh is always better, and it's always more active and live and potent, and that's delivered into your skin when you get it. And there's also, you know, when you get all of these layers of sort of like care and thoughtfulness and consciousness and intention through every layer of the product making, development and sourcing and production, that comes forth in the product. You know, products that you know, don't have value and worth behind them. Many times, you know what it's like. You get sent tons of products, you feel them right away. You're like, no. And
I say no like 20 times for every one time I say yes, at minimum, for brands that come in. And the one thing I think makes your brand stand out very differently from a lot of other brands that we have it's two things. One, you use herbs in a way that most other people don't. So I'd love to talk about that. But also, I don't know if anybody has ever looked at a Josh Rosebrook ingredient list. It takes up half the box. It like literally goes down one side, continues on the other side, which I love because it's not like a 3 or 4 ingredient, and then you also don't have fillers. So can you talk to kind of all those things I just threw at you?
Very good question. It's a very good question. And thank you for bringing it up because it doesn't make my life easier. It's much easier to have a shorter ingredients list. It's not, and there's a point behind it. And let me try and explain that as best I can in the most concise manner without giving away trade secret.
Yeah.
Because there is a methodology in it, and there's a reason why there are so many, and it contributes to the efficacy of the formula. And I just want to sort of point out, because people always have ingredient-driven questions, and it doesn't matter what ingredient it is. It could be the best ingredient or an okay ingredient. It's the formulation that matters, and it's always going back and you know, refocusing people on the formulation, because that's really where you get products that make an impact. Because if something's poorly formulated, from the emulsifier to the percentages of what have you in the product to the pH, it's not going to be effective. So it matters. With the herb list, yes, that was what I saw missing in the market, was real herbal driven products, because herbal, so many of the plants, many of them very well researched and with many studies behind them, show that topically they are extremely regenerative. They treat skin diseases, acne, you know, they support many different functions of the skin being healthy. And so when we are looking at all of these herbs, they're very important. And when you start formulating with them, you realize why many brands don't. And it's because they're very expensive. You know, I think that people don't realize raw ingredient costs and how much they actually cost, especially organic plants and herbs. So with that, the reason why there are so many is because different plant ingredients have different constituents, and they perform and react to each other differently in the formula, and they all have to be extracted differently. There's different methods to get that out, and that's why herbal extractions are so important, because you separate it from the plant matter, and that's how it actually impacts the skin. So it's not like, you know, just putting, you know, always. Let me get back to the point. So, the reason why there are so many is, in small concentrations, it creates a unique profile, and that's an herbal synergy. And they synergize, and they really become more together than they are individually. And then there's also less of a potential for somebody having a, you know, sensitivity to any benign ingredient.
And that's why I love it. I'm so sensitive, and I react to so much. And if there's too much rose oil or too much anything in a product, I get hives. And so I love yours.
Thank you. And let me tell you why. Because when you use smaller amounts of several products, not only do you create a unique, powerful, balanced profile if the formulation is done correctly, but you also sort of mitigate or, you know, allow so many other people to use the product, because it's a unique profile. And if you were to use, and it's also a much more expensive route, because when you have to source ingredients and you're buying, say you have 30 herbs and you're using 30 herbs in a formula, you're going to have to buy that many herbs as opposed to 4 that you could buy in a larger concentration and get a lower price. So it's more expensive to do this, but it creates a better product, because people are not going, somebody who is, say, sensitive to turmeric, whatever, any given herb, chickweed, whatever, somebody that can't experience lavender on their skin topically for whatever reason. Many times when they're in this type of a formulation and they're in low concentration, and and the synergy of it, it allows the person to actually use the product and not have a sensitivity, just like what you were saying. It's a lot to explain.
But it is amazing. And do you want to talk a little bit into your formulation process? Like, how do you divine a product? How do you approach it? How does it come to market?
Well, it's a long process. I have years worth of inspirations, and they all come from what I think the market needs and what I want personally. And that sort of creative process is very creative, because I will start research on a product. I will enlist my team, which is a chemist, and natural cosmetic chemist, and herbalist, and environmental scientist. I have all of these people sort of gather data, and then as it starts to come together, it either does or it doesn't. And that has to do with You know, sometimes the product is just much more difficult to create. And since being a really pure line that's not driven with fillers, and I call them just like, you know, they're just like ingredients that don't contribute to the formula. I don't use a lot of those, and it's not because I couldn't, it's because it's much, oh God, my smoke alarm. You know how the smoke alarm beeps when it needs a new battery?
Yes.
Oh my God. Somebody needs to invent something different. It scares the hell out of me and my dog. No,
How's your puppy dogs?
she's good. This is Cora.
So
She's freaked
cute.
out.
Mine's at doggy daycare. Otherwise, I would have had him make an appearance too. But
Oh my gosh.
he gets suddenly very demanding for my attention, and it's arbitrary. Like he can be asleep and then wake up and want all my attention. And I was like, I can't have that going on with you.
I love it.
We sent him away.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. What was I saying? I was talking about the, what was I talking about?
You don't use fillers, which is one of the reasons I love your brand.
So the reason why is not because you couldn't, and sometimes these ingredients are very necessary in creating an effective formula. And so I'm not saying anything against that, but what people need to understand sometimes is that there's passion to do better, and that drives innovation. And what I'm talking about is you can just, lazy might be too strong of a word. You could be lazy and be like, well, that'll fix it. Let's do that. Let's throw that in there. But it necessarily doesn't contribute to the formula or necessarily take it away, but it doesn't give anything to it. So the way me and my team think are, let's try and make it in another way so that the formula is finished with more benefit, so that it doesn't have those ingredients that might slightly take away. And that is something that's very hard to market and share with people. It really just comes down to a drive to make the best possible product no matter what, and not using, I kind of call them cheat ingredients, like not just putting something in there that can take up a fair percentage in a formula that could be removing space that an otherwise beneficial extract could be using for real regeneration and benefit. So that's the point. That's what makes the line different. That's hard to market, and it's something that I hope people just experience in the efficacy of the product.
Yeah, well, that's what, like when I'm in the stores and, you know, introducing someone to your product, I make them look at the ingredient list, because like I said, it wraps around the box. They can understand and recognize every single ingredient. And, you know, I love the fact that it is little amounts of a lot, so that I don't react to anyone.
Yes, but yet when it's little amounts of a lot, you're getting even more benefit because of how those molecules react together and support each other's benefit. Yeah. So it's like, it's amazing, you know, so yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and if I'm ever not looking at to the screen to the left is all the questions that we had. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm looking for the questions. No, but let's talk, people are asking when to use the cacao, when to use the enzyme exfoliator. There was a write-in question, can we use the two together or the same day?
Yeah. Yes, use them both the same day. The benefits are just compounded when you remove the dead surface skin cells and stimulate the collagen, all of the herbal anti-inflammatories of the active enzyme exfoliator going into your skin and brightening and supporting the function. You remove it, then you apply the cacao mask right after, and then you get the stimulation and the increase in hydration and the purifying of the cacao mask. It's like a powerful facial treatment. So use them as much as you want. You can't really overuse them, but you don't really need to use the exfoliator more than a couple times a week. You don't need to use the cacao mask more than a couple times a week. But if you wanted to and you really enjoyed it, you could use it every day. It's not going to hurt your skin.
That's amazing.
Especially with the advanced hydration mask, since it's a hydration treatment, it really is something that just helps keep your acid mantle intact and your hydration.
Can you put the hydration mask on at night and sleep in it?
Absolutely, it's wonderful. As long as you don't, you know, as long as you sleep on your back, you know, you don't want to get it on your pillow. But you know, if you sleep on your back, it's a wonderful treatment for overnight, and it's really going to help increase hydration, you know, while you're sleeping. I answered that question.
Yes, you did. You're amazing. If someone was going to start and just like have like a 3-step process like I am starting out, I'm moving to clean beauty. What are the 3
Okay.
essentials you would
So the
recommend?
first thing I would say is, what are you using that you like right now? Hold on to those. You know, keep using those, use them up, finish them. Go to what you're which phase are you missing in your routine? From cleanse to tone to hydrate to nourish, to regenerate, moisturize, whatever it may be. Find what's missing and then start there and build it slowly and get products that work one at a time, 1 or 2 at a time, so that you know if you introduce something and it doesn't resonate with your skin, you know what it was. So with that, if somebody comes to me, usually what I find is people aren't exfoliating effectively, or yeah, usually that's what it is. And so I usually get them started on active enzyme exfoliator because it's going to, you know, all of the phases work with each other, and everything, it works in conjunction. So if you aren't properly exfoliated, you're not going to be able to hydrate and moisturize as well. Your skin's not going to hold on to you're not going to hold on to the oils in the lipid layer if you need to exfoliate. Your skin's going to feel dry when you need exfoliation, and you'll mistake it for dryness so I really like to start with exfoliation, and then it's like, okay, if you like your cleanser, you're good. Exfoliate, and now, oh, you have a good moisturizer that you like. Great, you need a hydrator. You're moisturizing, but you're not hydrating effectively, so you need a hydrator. So it's that sort of like a very curated approach that you need to sort of come to the table with to understand where to get started. And you know, some people are like, give me everything, and it's like, okay, if you want to start with everything, that's easy, but I don't recommend that. I recommend starting with 1 at a time and, you know, integrating.
Yeah. So one of my personal favorite products, which I know like the enzyme is like what is one of your heroes, and the hydration accelerator, the complete moisture cleanse to me is always the one I go back to. And is there a proper way to use it? Is there a skin type it's for?
The complete moisture cleanse is that universal, gentle, super effective cleanser. You know, I introduced that in 2011, and
Don't ever change it. I'm addicted.
Thank you. Okay, I won't. Just for you.
Just for me.
And really, it was because, you know, I always had a sense for what products needed to be better. That's one of the things that I've been good at. And so back then I was so dissatisfied with foaming cleansers because they were like shampoos for your face. And I wanted to create one that had a lower, gentle, like you want to have a little bit of lather, but you want it to be so slight and so gentle. And so the base of it is honey and oils. So you're getting that really nutrient dense moisturizing, but you're getting the pull with the cleansing agent to just pull enough of the impurities off your skin, but still leave the acid mantle intact. And that's why I called it the complete moisture cleanse, because it really does reinforce, and it doesn't remove your precious oils. And that's a very delicate thing with a cleanser, because most really just do over clean, and you can, and that's a problem over time. It's a serious problem.
Yeah, well, especially like in Colorado, it's just so dry here.
Yeah.
And I also love because it doesn't, some cream cleansers my skin can break out a little bit from them, and yours actually does the opposite. So my skin has not been enjoying quarantine because there's too much sugar and snacks in my fridge. So I've been like breaking out. I went up here, but it's like a cream cleanser that also clarifies. And when you were just saying the honey, I bet it's the honey that.
Yeah, well, okay, so it's the honey, and you know, and it's also the oil base, and then it's the concentration of the surfactant, which it's a coconut derived surfactant. That does not mean there's coconut oil in it. There's no it's a completely different molecule. It's derived from coconut. That does not mean it's coconut oil. PSA. But with that, one of the other reasons what makes it a really effective cleanser is one of the things that people skip over when they're formulating cleansers is that they think that because it's a wash-off product that they don't invest in the real anti-inflammatory actives that you need that soothe and calm the skin when you're cleansing, because they think it's just because it's a wash-off product. But I wrote a blog about this and why it's important to have beneficial actives in wash-off products, because water opens up the skin, and it you know, enhances penetration in the skin, and things go into, and ingredients and molecules, they go into the skin when you're cleansing, and they impact the skin. Just because it's a minute or 2 or 3, you know, and you're massaging in, doesn't mean that it's not going in and making a difference. So it's also because of the anti-inflammatory herbal synergy that's in it as well, that really does help adjust and balance the skin when you're using it.
And there's a question that went by in the scroll. Can you discuss the difference between hydration and moisture?
Yes, I wrote a blog about this. It's one of the aspects that I started really about skincare that I started talking about back in 2015, when people didn't understand to apply your hydrating mist before your balms, creams, serums, and oils. Because water and oil are chemically very different, and they respond to the skin very differently. Obviously, they're different. And the way water responds and goes into the skin, they need to be used separately. Water hydrates, and oils, waxes, occlusive agents, that moisturizes, but the word moisturizer is a bit of a misnomer. All that it's really doing is it's trapping hydration in the skin so that hydration builds up and can't escape. That's moisturizing. It's not actually putting moisture in the skin. It's just causing your skin water levels to increase by reinforcing the oil mantle layer on the surface of the skin. So hydrating and getting the water in is very important. That's why an effective formulation for a mist is imperative, because you have to get that water in the skin. It can't just hit your skin and roll off. There is a way that a proper hydrator is formulated to penetrate the stratum corneum. So once you get that water in, it's only as good as it is trapped. So applying your hydrator and then going out for the day is actually going to applying your hydrator for the day. Yeah, applying your hydrator for the day and then not putting a moisturizer on afterwards is actually going to dehydrate you more than it would otherwise. You should apply your hydrator, and then it immediately has to be followed and locked in, or it will actually cause a bit of transepidermal water loss. And that's why, you know, yeah, layering. It's about layering.
Perfect. So since we're talking about hydration, I don't know if I ever told you this about the Hydration Boost Concentrate. So when you first sent it to me to test, because so for people who don't know, when you own the stores, a lot of the brands will send you probably 3-4 months before it launches, send you a little sample so you can try it so that you're ready to buy it when it launches. And I'm always a skeptic. So I started putting the Hydration Boost Concentrate on just one side of my face. And I'm like, I'm going to see if I can feel the difference. And 2 weeks later, I'm in my store and I'm telling someone that. And she's like, can I touch your face? And one of my store managers, I was like, sure. And she touched my face and she's like, it's that side. I said, yep, it is. And then I get home and I'm telling my husband this story the next morning with no makeup on, nothing, at the table. And he's looking at my face and he looks and he goes, that side. So there was, to the touch and visibly, a difference from one side of my face to the other after using that for 2 weeks. So I am a big fan of that product.
That makes me so happy. That's the Hydration Boost Concentrate.
Yeah.
And, you know, that product, like, from your experience, it should not be underestimated. And it's difficult. It's a more difficult product for me to market because it's a hydration boost and it's a concentrate. It's like, what is it? But it literally is that. It's a product that you can slide into your routine to increase water level, you know, because of the high polysaccharides, the botanical hyaluronic acid, but then also it's a rich concentration of plant antioxidants. Horse chestnut increases water in the cell. Not clinically proven, it's scientifically proven to increase cellular hydration when applied topically, and then also to cacao and green tea extract. It's a dense plant concentrate that really does assist in regeneration and skin function. And I wouldn't say it's an essential product because, you know, when we get to essentials, it's cleanse, exfoliate, moisturize, protect. And this sort of falls into like a boosting sort of like, it's an extra supplement for the skin if you, it's oil free and essential oil free. So it's really effective for people with perioral dermatitis and people with ultra sensitive skin issues, people who are sensitive to oils, plant oil, nut and seed oils. Some people are sensitive to all nut and seed oils. So it's a really unique effective product. I'm so happy that you love it.
I know, can you use it around the eyes? Is that safe?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
All of my products can be used around the eye. You know, you don't need to get, you know, I use the masks up to my eye um, because that's skin too. And it needs regeneration as well. But with like with the hydration boost concentrate and the balms and the oils and the hydrators, yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then there were a couple questions that were come by. I was just scrolling back to see them. And I'm going to guess the hydration boost falls into this. What is the best for mature skin?
Well, of course, I would have to say, what are you missing? What do you need? But when it comes to mature skin, you know, let's always focus on like making sure that you're exfoliated properly. That's number one. Then hydrating and moisturizing so that your skin function is intact and working and healthy. And then at that point, I would say the next essential would be, you know, a daily sunscreen. And that's the essential. And then depending on what your goals are, you know, my new daily acid toner is coming out. It's launching on June 9th on my
Loving
site.
that.
And then the retailers are getting it on June 1st or August 1st. And there's a reason for that. It's not to just, you know, hog the launch. I'll tell you why. It has to do with the pandemic. So with that, the daily acid toner, excellent for mature skin that's really looking to resurface, stimulate collagen, brighten and tone. This daily acid toner does everything. And I've never sort of promoted very direct claims about products because I really don't believe in that. I believe in putting forth products that I know are effective and people talking about them and sharing the results. But this product delivers. It resurfaces, it brightens, it tones, it stimulates collagen, it exfoliates. It's incredible. And there's so much value and worth in it. I want everyone to have it because honestly, it's worth every penny and it's really cost effective too. It's going to be 3.3 ounces for $29.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, getting that price
29?
29.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Because and you know what, and it's got my in-house made extracts and it's beautiful and potent. It's got we've got red algae, green algae, clay. It's just the most beneficial formula you can add to your collection and your routine to really deliver results. I could talk about it all day. The other thing that person was asking when it comes to mature skin, you know, are you, everybody over 40 probably should be using some sort of gentle retinol, you know, to really help the skin regenerate and stimulate the cell production. I have a really gentle, even for sensitive skin, form of retinol coming out in on Black Friday.
Ooh, that's going to be insane.
It's a 3-in-1 product. It's going to have stabilized vitamin C, a clinical dose of gentle retinol. So these are the things that I'm rounding out the collection so that there are offerings for everyone.
Yeah.
Because when you pass the age of 40, your skin changes and you need new options.
Yeah.
And when you start using retinol, I don't think everybody needs it. If you struggle with acne, that's different. That's a condition. It's not necessarily a skin type. But I don't think you need it until you're 36, 37, 38. You get, when you start to age, you need the products and the actives that really can support aging slower. And that is something like retinol. And retinol is safe and it is effective and it's extremely effective. There's just decades of study behind it. And we can talk more about that later. But that is something. And then
like, when do I get my sample of that?
Listen, you want it? I have 5 samples here. I'll send you one.
Oh my God. I would.
Okay. I want you to have it. I want you to have it.
Yay. That's so exciting.
Yes, it is. And it really is about, you know, let me just share real quick. It's about rounding out the collection so there's options for everyone. But from my perspective, from a small batch, in-house made extract, perspective with a formulation that is different from the rest on the market. It's about delivering something that is truly special and effective. And like, for instance, the acid, it's hibiscus flower acid, and it is so gentle for sensitive skin, and it's really, really beneficial for all skins, and that's really hard to create. Acids are very difficult to make. This took like 3 years, and coming full circle and really honoring, you know, the herbal driven approach to regeneration and skin health, with the anti-inflammatories and the antioxidant rich plants, but then also going into clinical actives that are biomimetic and that have so much cosmetic science behind them that are safe and sustainable is very important.
Okay, and then we had started to touch about your sunscreen and talk about why that's so special. But one of the things that also, it's a two-parter, I'm good for those, is, and people are asking a lot about like acne spots or sunspots, like which of your products would you think would treat those best? And then why is the sunscreen so important for avoiding those?
Okay, that's a big question. Let me pick it apart. Okay, so first of all, SPF is so important, and it's also the proper application. You know, a lot of people don't apply enough, you know, especially when you have something like the Nutrient Day Cream, which is a dual action product, and the tinted, which is a 3-in-1. You know, it's a regenerating herbal, regenerating light moisturizer and SPF. So you're getting a moisturizing actives and herbs in the product, but you're also getting a really comfortable, well-formulated SPF that you like to wear, that isn't sticky and smelly and, you know, doesn't trap heat in your skin in a way that many sunscreens can do. So, you know, you're paying for that. And when you're paying for that, and you don't want to just skimp on the amount that you're using on your face every day, because it matters. One pump for your full face is not going to give you SPF 30. You have to apply 1/4 of a teaspoon. And sometimes that feels like too much, but we're talking about sunscreen, and you have to just apply it and, you know, pat it in and rub it in, and it does absorb, but you have to wear enough for proper protection. And it's the #1 thing you can do to offset dark spots and hyperpigmentation. And here's the deal. A lot of the time when we see a dark spot, you know, that starts showing itself, that's because damage was done on the dermal layer years prior, and it's finally finding its way to the surface and showing itself. It's not necessarily something that you just did last week. You know, yes, you know, UVA rays can intensify dark spots, but if you're wearing your sunscreen and you're wearing enough, a lot of the damage that shows itself is going to show itself even if you are properly protected, because that was damage done years before. What can we do to mitigate that? It's important to effective exfoliation, vitamin C's, retinol, acids, and obviously herbal antioxidants, the hydration boost concentrate, the cacao, the green tea. Those are clinically proven to deliver results, scientifically proven to deliver results in, you know, causing new skin cell production and in brightening the skin. So it's all in there, and it's really about a well formulated, you know, sort of high integrity actives in the skin, from herbs to biomimetics and vitamin C's and retinols, and making sure that you're doing everything. And then also, you know, if it depends on the degree, you know, do you have a very light spot and doesn't seem to go away? Well, go in and see a medical esthetician and get it zapped with a laser or something, you know? There's solutions for everything, and then there's genetics that you just have to accept. But more than anything is protecting your skin now, and then assessing, you know, what was coming from, oh, I didn't start wearing sunscreen every day until I was 39 years old. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of hyperpigmentation and damage come up from the lower layers of your skin. You just are, and that's skincare is work. It is work, and it's diligence, and you know, but it pays off, you know, and so.
No, it's amazing. And like you were saying, it's like your skin changes over time. And I've just noticed, like, I'm halfway through, I'm 48 now, almost, you know, almost 50, but it's like my skin has changed so much in the last 3 years. It's crazy. Yeah. I know.
44 to 40, I'm 46. Oh, excuse me, I'm 45. 44 to 46, I'm feeling is like, it's all changed so much. And, you know, and you got to get real, you got to get honest, you've got to do what's right. You got to not come from fear. You got to do what serves you. But literally your bone structure diminishes. I know this is depressing, but it does to a degree. You're still alive. We have a lot to be grateful for, but your bone diminishes, your face changes. Literally the structure of what holds your face up changes, you know, and God bless, you know, cosmetic science and stimulating collagen, because that's, you know, that's something we can do. And, you know, just don't fall into fear and don't get scared. And it's a process of doing what you can do and being inspired by, you know, the innovative ingredients and, you know, modalities that can support your aging well, but then also just accepting that, like, you know, you're going to get old too, but that your skin can still be glowing at every age. And that's exciting.
Yeah.
If you take care of it and you invest in it. So, but, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
did I answer that question?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So we have like 15 more minutes. I've been trying to ask questions that people have been asking, but I want to make sure we don't go over the hour so we can save this and get it up on our IGTV. But if people have questions, and I'm going to look really quick at the questions that were sent in before. I think I covered most of them. We talked about new launches. We talked about the Complete Moisture Cleanse. I think what makes the Vital Balm Cream smell so amazing?
That would be the essential oils of blue tansy and lang lang and a little lavender.
Okay.
They're all, you know, essential oils are very beneficial in low concentrations, I believe. That's my approach. Low concentrations and high quality, unadulterated essential oils. You got to be aware of a lot of like bad essential oils on the market. You know, essential oils are actives and they need to be used very carefully, and they're not right for everybody, but they're also very beneficial for many skins. And yeah, that's where the smell is coming from. And it also contributes to the anti-inflammatory and, you know, effect of the product. So.
And I think that last part is going to hook into the next one. Someone just wrote that as they're getting older, their skin is getting redder, and what could cause that and what would treat it?
You know, you got to look at a lot of different things. Why are you getting increased redness? Is it due to hormonal changes? Have you stopped exercising? You know, is it inflammation redness or is it vascular redness? You know, if it's inflammation, you know, addressing the diet, you could have developed a dietary allergen. You could be sensitive to avocados all of a sudden, eating them, and you didn't know it because you don't feel anything, but you're sensitive, or mushrooms, or, you know, who knows? There's a million things. It could be some random nut that you didn't know you had sensitivity and you develop it. So everything has to be looked at. And then you have to address your body, you know, internally. And again, is it vascular redness? Is it, you know, the veins showing, or is it inflammation? What kind of redness is it? And then being able to address it from that point. But topically calming the skin is always going to support good skin health and slowing the aging process. The anti-inflammatories are so important in contributing to skin regeneration, because the skin doesn't heal when it's inflamed. It's trying to heal, and it's important to speed that process. And that's what plants and herbs do that are anti-inflammatory. They speed up the process so the skin can get into healing mode and heal itself. It knows how to heal. And so that's important, to have a regular application of anti-inflammatories, and that, you know, whether it's in the herbal infusion oil and the active enzyme exfoliator, they're all infused into the products. So topically applying those is always going to help. But going inside, you know, even seeking out a naturopathic doctor or a Chinese medicine doctor who focuses on dermatology that can help look at internally what might be causing this redness. Okay, I answered that question.
And let me look, there was another one in here. Are there benefits to starting a retinol earlier than the mid to late 30s?
I go back and forth on this, and of course it's arguable, but I just don't believe you really need it, because the point is that your skin is still growing. your skin is still developing collagen. And until your skin, and that's the main benefit of retinol, is to increase skin cell production and thicken the dermis. And that's, you know, and so when you're younger and you're under 30, unless you're struggling with acne, because retinol can help mitigate that, what's the point? Are you, you know, many times it can just become from trying to do everything to not age. And that's, you know, I was like that in my 20s. I was obsessed with making sure that I preserved the youthful qualities of my face. And some of it, I think, is kind of just like water on a duck's back. I didn't need a lot of the things that I was doing, but it was really just coming from fear.
Yeah.
And, you know, just support. Exfoliation is going to stimulate new skin cell growth, and that's important. And that's going to renew the surface of your skin and reveal new skin. And you know, staying hydrated and moisturized. And sunscreen in your 20s is going to be the #1 thing that's going to protect the collagen and the and from your skin breaking down, and then not having that, you know, that beautiful foundation later in life.
Yeah. So you're like, sunscreen is the retinol of your 20s and 30s.
You know what? Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, these are going fast now. Someone asked, do you need to use a washcloth to remove the complete moisture cleanse?
You don't have to. You can use it any way you like. That's like the directions. This is like my how to use, and I have to say what I do and what I think is best, but you can use it any way you like. I like to use a wrung out wet washcloth to remove the complete moisture cleanse because it minimizes splash water contact. I don't like splash rinsing my face. It disrupts the acid mantle. It messes with your pH.
You can curse here. I'm good. I'm good at cursing, drinking. I'm mine. It's all good.
Okay, so it messes with your pH, and so anytime you can minimize water, tap water contact to your skin, I would. That's why I recommend removing it with a wrung out wet washcloth. But you can do it any way you like.
Yep.
You know how I remove my masks is I get in the shower and I get my hand wet, and then I use my wet hand on my face. And that eventually, after like, you know, 10 times of doing that, I rinse it off, because I feel like that minimizes the splash water contact to splashing off the masks in the shower. You know, so I have all of these little tips and tricks that, you know, I'm crazy.
Well, clearly they're working. Your skin looks amazing. And I'm going to see, I think there's one more. Do you need to store anything in the refrigerator?
You know, you can, if it's summertime and you've got it back stock, yeah, put it in the refrigerator. Refrigerating your fruits and vegetables will cause them not to ripen as fast. It's, you know, it's kind of like keeping it fresh. It absolutely does help. Does it need to be kept in the refrigerator? No. But will it preserve it so that it's good longer? Absolutely.
Plus, I feel like the cold helps everything depuff in the morning.
It does, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know.
I aspire one day to have a bathroom with like a real fridge, not even like one of those little makeup fridges, but have like a real fridge.
Well, you know what? You could do it. You can do that. You can have a fridge in your bathroom. Oh, or just like a refrigerated cosmetic cabinet. That would be amazing.
I know. That would be super cool. Okay, so I'm going to end this before we go over, and I can't save this anymore because been my biggest challenge, but I just wanted to say thank you so much. You're amazing, and I think we've answered everyone's questions on here, and I can't be more thankful for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
I know, and hopefully we all get out and get to see each other in real life soon. This is all so surreal. Okay, adore you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.